Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat of my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall mine head be lifted up above mine enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face. My heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I had fainted, unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, whom rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to hopefully out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. Pushing to get up out of here, Shalom, to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. And what I want to get into today, is a lesson, a walk and talk called Victorious, okay? And it was inspired, okay, by the account in the book of 2 Kings, the 18th and 19th chapter, dealing with, King Hezekiah, and the time Yahweh Shai, all right, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua preserve, them from the Assyrians, okay? And these accounts, as the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's open up with that precept, all right? The book of Romans 15, and verse 4. Romans 15 and 4, it says, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, So we go into these accounts, we can always draw out, faith, hope, because these are real accounts that happen, where the Lord, will preserve, us as a people, and it was based on, our trust in him. As we're going to go into the account, Hezekiah, was favored of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. He had some simple moments, the Lord chastised him at certain times. All right, but overall, Hezekiah, was favored, So I want to get into this account, quick backdrop, as far as the history. Okay, you had the southern kingdom, Okay, they was taken down, all right, by Shalmaneser the fifth, the Assyrian king, and they was brought into captivity under the Syrians, dispersed, throughout the Assyrian Empire. They was taken away from Samaria, where the northern tribes dwelt, and dispersed, into the Assyrian Empire to serve captivity. Okay, and then you will have Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, all right, who will come after Shalmaneser. He, would begin the campaign against the southern kingdom. Okay, but we're going to go into the account of how, he wasn't allowed, to do the southern kingdom like he did the northern kingdom, and the trust and the faith that Hezekiah had, played a part in it. Okay, now let's go to the account. Lord will, this is edifying, it's a faith booster. So you get 2 Kings chapter 18. Okay, I started at 1. This is do quite a bit of reading, so I'm gonna read through a lot, and whatever precepts the Spirit give, we'll go into it. All right, not in a rush, so get comfortable. This is 2 Kings 18:1. All right, it says, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, began to rule over Judah in the 3rd year of Hoshea's reign in Israel. Okay, and under Hoshea, the northern tribes, they went into captivity under the Syrians. It says he was 25 years old when he became king, fairly young. And he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years. His mother was Abijah, the daughter of Zechariah. He did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, just as his ancestor David did. He removed the pagan shrines, smashed the sacred pillars, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke up the bronze serpent that Moses, he broke up the bronze serpent that Moses had made, because the people of Israel, all right, the people of Israel had been offering sacrifice to it. The bronze serpent was called Nehushtan, so you had Jake, that was an idol, that was into idol worship, and Hezekiah, he was a king that pretty much what you call reform. He did a reform. Matter of fact, let's look up that word reform, because you will have that, particular kings that come in and they go through a phase of reform. Josiah did it. He went and, removed the idols. Jake would become heavy into idolatry and particular things, and you will have particular kings that will come and do a righteous reform. So let's get this word, reform. Okay. And that's what Hezekiah was pretty much doing. All right, so a reform, it says make changes in something, typically a social, political, or economic institution or practice, in order to improve it. Okay, to improve it. So you're seeing Hezekiah, began to make righteous reform, to improve Israel's relationship, the southern kingdom at the time, improve their relationship with Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. Okay, and we all, we had to go through a reform, rethink how we did everything, clear out the idolatry of our mind, as we've come into, the understanding of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai. We all had to go through a personal reform, to draw that closeness. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick in Zechariah. Okay, this is Zechariah chapter 1 and verse, I started at 2. It says, the Lord has been sore displeased with your fathers. Therefore say thou unto them, thus said the Lord of hosts, turn ye unto me, said the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai of hosts, and I will turn unto you, said the Lord of hosts. So we all had to go through, a personal reform, to get back into the closeness and the favor of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shai, and we can see the progress. We see that it's working, So going from there, let's go back to 2 Kings, the 18th chapter. Okay. This is 2 Kings 18 and 5. It said Hezekiah trusted in the Lord. You see? So Hezekiah had a record that he trusted in Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay? It said Hezekiah trusted in the Lord, the power of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, either before or after his time. He remained faithful to the Lord in everything, and he carefully obeyed all the commandments of the Lord had given Moses. So the Lord was with him, and Hezekiah was successful in everything he did. He revolted against the king of Assyria and refused to pay him tribute, you know? And that's pretty much the stance we're taking, you know, in the spirit. Now, of course, we pay our bills and pay taxes, but spiritually we're revolting against this society, you know? You see? So Hezekiah, he bucked up against the Assyrian, empire, you know? He stopped paying tribute, you see? And this is what we're doing in the spirit. Like I said, of course you pay your taxes and your bills and whatever obligations you got, but see, we're not giving our energy to this kingdom anymore, you know? We're not giving our energy into the Christmas and, you know, the pagan holidays and Christianity and nigger culture, okay? We're not subscribing, you know, to, you know, the philosophies of this devil. You know, we rebelled against that. We revolted against that, okay? So keep going on. It says he also conquered the Philistines as far distant as Gaza, all right? Which we hear that land, all right? We hear that in the news a lot, you know, showing you that's all our land. And all those casualties that's happening, you know, in that land due to this conflict, none of that is supposed to be over there no way, okay? But, all right, it show you that, hey, that's our original land, you know, and the Lord just starting to chip away at it and clear it out for us, man, you know? He says he also conquered the Philistines as far distant as Gaza and its territory from the smallest outpost to the largest walled city. It said during the 4th year of Hezekiah's reign, which was the seventh year of King Hoshea's reign in Israel, King Shalmaneser of Assyria attacked the city of Samaria and began a siege against it. 3 years later, during the 6th year, so you had Hezekiah see, you know, Hezekiah is, you know, seeing Shalmaneser take down the northern kingdom. You know, Hezekiah, you know, the Lord pretty much dealing with Hezekiah to where he's conquering, you know, he's winning, you know, victories in battles, conquering land, and, you know, he's pretty much on the run. You see? All in the favor of Yahweh Shem Shai, you know? And just as we conquer our personal battles, you know, certain things that we are weak to as we came into the truth, you know, we began to overcome those things, man, you know? So he's seeing, you know, the northern kingdom being taken down by the Assyrians, okay? And it says, during the 4th year of Hezekiah's reign, which was the 7th year Hoshea's reign in Israel, Shalmaneser of Assyria attacked the city of Samaria and began a siege against it. 3 years later, during the 6th year of King Hezekiah's reign and the 9th year of King Hoshea's reign in Israel, Samaria fell. At that time, the king of Assyria exiled the Israelites to Assyria and placed them in colonies in Halah along the banks of Habar River in Gazan and in the cities of the Medes, okay, which is close to, you know, modern day Iran today, you know, just to kind of give you a geographical, you know, picture, you know. So that was pretty much moved, you know, several hundred miles east, you know, from what Israel was, all right? And it says, for they refused to listen to the Lord their power and obey him. Instead, they violated his covenant, all the laws that Moses, the Lord's servant, had commanded him to obey. So Northern Kingdom was bucking up. Okay? And one thing we know, a formula for failure for Israel is to rebel against their power. You know, that's the common denominator. Our obedience and our rebellion, you know, and that pretty much determines the outcome of Israel in the earth, you know, is obedience and rebellion. And we're seeing the both at play, you know, as Hezekiah has a record of obedience, okay, king of the southern tribes, but then you have Hoshea has a record of disobedience, and you see his outcome, you know. And matter of fact, it just gives a few precepts, because one thing about it, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he's always, you know, a straightforward, okay. So when you go here, this is Isaiah 1:18. Now this is the Lord sending Isaiah to plead with Israel, okay, to get right, man, you know. So when you read verse 18, it says, come now and let us reason together, said the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. You know, so the Lord would always send his prophets as a form of mercy. You know, and when mercy was rejected, when Israel rejected mercy, then the Lord would, you know, just pronounce judgment. He would send the prophets just to pronounce judgment, man. You know? So verse 19, it says, if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land, which is another, you know, way of saying you're going to prosper, you're going to be good. Okay? As you're reading about Hezekiah and how he's prospering. Okay? You see, he's trusting in Yahweh Bashim Shai. He's being obedient, and we read about his prosperous, you know, reign as king. You know, his first 5 years, so from like age 25 to 30, you know, Hezekiah, you know, he was doing this thing, you know, under the obedience and the trust that he had in Yahweh Bashim Shai. So if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat of the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai have spoken it, man. Okay, and we seen the Northern Kingdom, what are they doing? They're rebellion, all right? And there was a Lord allowed them to be devoured by the sword, okay? So we see these two, you know, contrasting scenarios playing out at the same time. Rebellious Northern Kingdom, you know, and faithful Southern Kingdom at the time, all right? You know, Hezekiah, you know, he got the Passover back going. You see, even some of the northern tribes came, you know, to his Passover. You know, it was Jake. You know, they tried to imitate the Passover of Hezekiah, you know, but that was a different time. You know, that we're not, you know, when we do the Passover, it's after the order of Yahweh Shai. You know, Hezekiah was before Yahweh Shai made that sacrifice, man. You know, just to put that out there. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with, you know, of course, naturally you're going to enjoy a brother's company, man. Okay, you got, you know, your family cool. You're gonna enjoy, you know, being around your family. Not saying nothing wrong with that. Okay, but that party, you know, that party overtone that Jake has, you know, dealing with the Passover, you know, and then they, you know, try to use Hezekiah. All right, that's a whole different circumstance, man. You see, but let's go back here. Because even in the book of, let's get that real quick, in the book of Judith. It's the book of Judith. All right. I'll start at verse 20, get to the point. Judith 5:20 says, now therefore, Now this was a Ammonite, so-called Japanese, okay, and he's pretty much giving the rundown, okay, to this this Babylonian general, dealing with Israel, you know. So he's pretty much inquiring, about these people, okay. You got a certain captain, inquire, okay, about Israel, as they was on the campaign, to try to take down, the Southern Kingdom at one point, but it just wasn't that time. Eventually the Southern Kingdom, they rebelled, and the Lord allowed, the Babylonians to eventually take them down, but during the time of Judah, it just wasn't that time. Okay, so as you read, it says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this will be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Okay, so even the heathens knew, all right, the formula, all right, when it came to Israel. Like, look, if they rebel, we got them. Pretty much their power is going to give them into our hand if they rebel against him. But on the flip side, verse 21, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So he's telling them, well, look, he's giving them both scenarios. If they are rebellious, we can have our way. We got them. But if they in good standings with their power, they untouchable. We can't do nothing. We can't deal. We gonna be in the record books. We gonna be, we gonna get a world star. We gonna be on the Most High's highlight tape. Okay, if they in good standings with their power. Okay, so there was a known formula, even amongst the heathens, and this is what we've come into understanding as we've grown and matured in the faith, that it pays to be in good standings with Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. We're still tried, we're still chastened, we're still vexed, but eventually it works out in our favor. We endure the process of the chastening of the Lord. Eventually, somehow, some way, it works out in our favor, and it just creates more of a closeness into our power, more trust, more faith, when we go through these things and are preserved, So, 2 Kings 18, and where I stop it. All right. Verse 13. Okay, so now, the northern tribes are pretty much, taken captive, exiled, dispersed throughout, the Syrian Empire at this point. So now, when you read verse 13, it says in the 14th year, so this is years later, all right, after Shalmaneser, had died. All right, it says in the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign. So it's the 14th year, so that will put Hezekiah 14 to 39, So he, he OG status now almost, man. Okay, so it says in the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, King Sennacherib of Assyria came to attack the fortified towns of Judah and conquered them. And so Sennacherib began to start conquering villages leading up to Jerusalem. He started a campaign against the southern kingdom, the southern tribes. All right, it said King Hezekiah sent this message to King of Assyria at Lachish. I have done wrong. It says, I will pay whatever tribute money you demand if you only withdraw. The king of Assyria then demanded a settlement of more than 11 tons of silver and 1 ton of gold. Man, that's a ticket, boy. Whew, that's a ticket. So then Hezekiah, let's get this. Let's try to see if we can figure that out. You know, that's a ticket. You know, um, yep. So today, 11 tons of silver is 1 million, a little bit over $1 million. Okay, then you have a ton of gold is 55 million. Some say 85 million, depending on the price. So damn, he had dropped 86 million. You know what I'm saying? You see, so the Syrian king asked for 86 million. Just in today's time, so we can understand the, what he was requesting. You see, yeah, that was a nice ticket. This is 2 Kings 18 and 15. It says, to gather this amount, King Hezekiah used all the silver stored in the temple of the Lord and in the treasury. Hezekiah even stripped the gold from the doors of the Lord's temple and from the doorposts he had overlaid with gold, and gave it all to the Syrian king. And when I read this, man, I say Hezekiah had his moments, man. When I read this, man, I was like, God damn, Hezekiah, you know, take this nigga to war, man. In the name of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, give them niggas nothing, But the Lord had to play it out, like this, man. But just reading it, when I first read it, I'm like, God damn, Hezekiah, But you keep reading, we'll see these things play out, So, he pays the tribute to Sennacherib. All right, it said, nevertheless, the king of Assyria, and then it shows you how plush the temple was, to have that much gold. You see, that much silver, and that was just the accessories of the temple. So it just show you how plush, the temple was, man. And it says, 2 Kings 18 and 17 said, nevertheless, the king of Assyria sent his commander in chief, all right, his field commander and his chief of staff from Lachish with a huge army to confront King Hezekiah in Jerusalem. The Assyrians took up a position beside the aqueduct that feeds water into the upper pool near the road leading to the field where clothes is washed. They summoned Hezekiah, but the king sent these officials to meet them. Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, the palace administrator, Shebna, the court secretary, and Joah, the son of Ashpat, the royal historian. Okay, so he pretty much sent, his officials, men that was in the king's court, to go talk to the leaders of the Assyrian, military. Okay, it says, and they're pretty much in the, I guess it's something like a courtyard, okay, in the city, so you will have spectators around listening, to this dialogue, and it says, then the Assyrian chief, all right, then the Syrian king's chief of staff told them to give this message to Hezekiah. This was the great king of Assyria. What are you trusting in that makes you so confident? So now you see the Assyrians, okay, they're pretty much, questioning, like, what are these people trusting in? Like, what are they trusting in to make them not fully submit, to the Assyrian rule, okay? So now we're seeing them, the Assyrians begin to question, okay, and try to sow doubt, okay, into the southern kingdom at the time, on the Hezekiah trusting in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. And this is what we see today. Esau Edom, he's all about, sowing doubt and for us to distrust in our power, and this is why, we can link Esau with Assyria, man, and Esau comes in that same energy, man, like, his sword, okay, is the beginning and end of judgment in the earth, you know. And you gotta see these things in the spirit. Of course, these are real characters, and this is a real account, all right. Because you have to be able to link things in the spirit, for more of a faith booster to extrapolate, more of that hope, as you read in Romans 15:4. All right. So reading on, it says, "Do you think that mere words can substitute for military skill and strength? Who are you counting on that you have rebelled against me? On Egypt? If you lean on Egypt, it will be like a reed that splinters beneath your weight and pierces your hand. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, is completely unreliable." And see, and we use this even now. This is actual dialogue, okay? But you can use this same precept to go into the MOTB today, because America is what? Spiritual Egypt. Because you had, the Southern Kingdom, they will make alliances, economic and military alliances with Egypt, to try to ward off, Syria, and Babylonian, okay, hegemony, okay. So they would actually make alliances, okay, with Egypt, okay. So when you go, because this is the same account when you read Isaiah, because you read Isaiah 30 through 36, it's pretty much going into these accounts as well. It's the same timeline when you read the book of Isaiah, okay? Because Isaiah was one of the main prophets, during the reign of Hezekiah, okay? So we can use these accounts today, all right, as these are actual dialogues, between the Assyrians and, the Assyrians and certain ambassadors of the Southern Kingdom, and also certain dialogues between Isaiah and Hezekiah. But we use these things today in the spirit to expound on the circumstances we're in now. Because you read this in the KJV, this is 2 Kings 18:21. It says, "Now behold, thou trusted upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt." Now, don't our people trust in this system today? Spiritual Egypt, America, okay? Do they not trust in this broken system that is very corrupt, defiled, oppressive? Okay, do not our people trust in it, this broken system? All right, it says, "On which if a man lean," if you put your trust in, okay, because to lean on something, you have to trust. If you lean on the wall, well, you're trusting that wall to hold you up, okay? You lean against a tree, well, you have full faith that tree is going to hold you up. You put your body weight on it, okay? And our people today, they have a mindset that they can put, they can put everything into this system and be good and be held up, okay? It says it will go into his hand and pierce it, okay? Because trusting in this system and depending on this system, it all leads to one thing, and that's the MOTB, which is going to actually pierce their hand, okay? You see? So you see how this is a spiritual book, and you have to be spiritual to really tap into the power of this book, man. The understanding of this book, because it's about edification, man. It ain't about just knowing random historical facts, okay? That's cool, that's cute, but that ain't the end all be all, Edification got to be extrapolated out of these things, man. We turn these cameras on to edify the church ourselves, because the spirit take over, and, we go into things that we didn't plan for, and we're edified like, man, So just wanted to touch on that. You got these clowns, trying to, be theologian. Jake want to be a theologian now, a theologian scholar, with fringes on and the hat, But it says, "And pierce it, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, unto all him that trust him." So going back to the actual count, you know, um, pretty much, you know, you have the Syrian captain of the military, you know, and he's you know, he's trying to figure out like what does y'all trust come from? Like who do y'all trust in that's making y'all so confident to rebel against the mighty Assyria? You know. Good morning. How you doing, sir? How you doing, man? So, reading on, verse 22 said, "Perhaps you will say to me, we are trusting in the Lord our power. But isn't he the one who but isn't he the one who was insulted by Hezekiah? Didn't Hezekiah tear down his shrines and altars and make everyone in Judah and Jerusalem to worship only at the altar here in Jerusalem? You know, which I say Hezekiah did a righteous reform. You know, so this guy, the Assyrian captain, he had the formula wrong. He's not understanding that what Hezekiah did was in righteousness, man. Okay, so he had he thought that the Lord was against Hezekiah for doing it. All right, he had it wrong, you know, and he's going to pay dearly, okay, for being wrong. All right, so it says, verse 23 says, "I tell you what, strike a bargain with my master. All right, the king of Assyria. I will give you 2,000 horses if you can find that many men to ride on them. With your tiny army, how can you think of challenging even the weakest, all right, contingent of my master's troop, even with the help of Egyptians, chariot and charioteers?" So he's just full of himself. He's like, "Look, I'll give you 2,000 horses if you can find 2,000 men to put on them." You know, he said, "Your little tiny army." You know, so he's looking what? Carnally. Okay? Same way Goliath looked at King David. You know? Like, you know, Goliath was insulted. He's like, this who y'all got for me? You know? This is the opponent y'all got for me? Okay? But we understand this how the Lord gets down. Because the Lord wants to show his power. So that's why even like the position we in today, it's good that all the odds are stacked against us, man. Because that give room for Yahweh Bashim outside to work. You see? The Lord finna glorify his power. He finna glorify his name in the earth, man. Okay? You get that in, let's get that in Psalms. Is it 36? I ain't read in a while. Might be 30. Let's see. Might be 39. 38. Let me see. Horse. 33. Okay, 33. All right, this is Psalm. All right, verse 33. I mean, it's like Psalm chapter 33, verse 16. It says, "There is no king, all right, save by the multitude of a host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. And horse is a vain thing for safety. Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength." Okay? So you see, you know, the Assyrians, you know, their boast was in, you know, their large military, you know, their horsemen, you know, their horses, because horses, you know, represent power. You know, you have a large cavalry, you know, horses and mighty men on those horses that represent power. And that's why John the Revelator, you know, he kept referring to Yahweh Shai as being on that white horse, man, you know, and that's a symbol of power. Okay, you have a horse that was mighty, then you have a mighty man on the horse, you know, and if you had a bunch of those, you know, hey, that's a mighty force. Okay, but what the scripture say about Yahweh Shai, how he's coming, all right, on that white horse, which is that chariot, okay, and the angels, you know, follow behind him, man. those other mighty men. Okay, man, it's gonna be far out, man. Okay, so verse 18 said, "Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waited for the Lord. He is our help and our shield." Okay, so a mighty man is irrelevant. You know, military might is irrelevant. You know, it's about what the Lord wants to play out. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about how the Lord wants it to play out. And he has an expected end for those that believe in him, his people, all right, of Israel that believe in him. Okay? This is why we're not stressing, because we don't have a standing military. Okay? We don't know how to work, all right, this military hardware in the earth, you know, because we're not here to go toe to toe, bullet for bullet, missile for missile with Esau. Okay? We're here for the Lord, you know, to trust in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, and for the Lord to showcase his power. Okay? You know, it count with, you know, JK count with 22 guns on one person. Like, come on, man. Okay? Yeah, come on, man. You see? And it says, "Our soul waited for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trust in his holy name. Let the mercy of the Lord be upon us, according as we hope in him." You know? So we have an expectation of what the Lord is going to do. Okay? As we're pretty much surrounded, you know, by our enemies, man. As they're plotting and scheming. You know? Like I said, Esau, you know, he really wants to cast doubt. Why we trust like we trust, man. You know? That's his whole thing. Everybody wants us to doubt what we believe in. You know? You even have niggas talking about what they say, the sky god, the sky daddy, and all, you know, all this mockery. Okay. You know? But we know we fully persuaded. All right? And the Lord is going to vindicate, you know, his believers, you know, in the near future, man. Okay? So, yeah, and there's plenty more precepts, you know, to go into that. How the Lord, you know, is going to defend, you know, us in these times, man. Okay? How, hey, the Lord intentionally set us up, you know, to look weak, to look insignificant. Okay? To look tiny. All right? So let's go back to it. This is 2 Kings 18. All right, where we stopped at? 2 Kings, 18:24 says, "With your tiny army, how can you think of challenging even the weakest contingent of my master troops, even with the help of the Egypt chariots and charioteers? What's more, do you think we have invaded your land without the Lord's direction? The Lord himself told us to attack this land and destroy it." And at the end of the day, you know, the Lord set you up for failure. You see? So ultimately, we know that the Lord controls both sides. Okay? So he put the spirit on them to come against Hezekiah so he can show power. Okay? Because we know, all right, Isaiah 47 and Isaiah 45 verse 7, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. The Lord doeth all these things." So the Lord is on both hands, you know, because these heathens, you know, they into, you know, the seances and the paganism and, you know, pretty much, you know, they're all about worshiping demons, you know, and the Lord used those demons on the left hand side to set those heathens up for failure, like Esau Edom. You know, he's trusting, you know, in his witchcraft and his seances and rituals. But the Lord has always been setting this man up, you know, for failure. Okay? And this is what we're seeing playing out in the earth. Okay? Esau is being hyped up on the left-hand side to go with his move. Just like we see the Assyrians, the Lord hyped them up on the left-hand side to go with their move. Okay? That's why you get that in Job 12 and 16. It's the book of Job, chapter 12, verse 16. It says, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Okay? The deceived and the deceiver are his. Okay? So what we're going to see, all right, is that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai has set, the Assyrians up for failure, just as he set Esau and the elites, okay, up for complete failure. Okay? That's why even when you get, let's get that in Psalms 73. All right? It's the book of Psalms 73. I think verse 20. Oh, Shalaki. All right, this Psalm 73 and okay, 18. Yep. Now, when you go into Psalm 73, all right, what you gotta understand, you go up to the first like 7 verses. Okay, Asaph, is pretty much complaining about the prosperity, okay, and the wealth of the wicked. Matter of fact, just read one to kind of give context to it. This is Psalm 73 and 3. It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there was no bands in their death, but their strength was firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Okay, and you look at Esau and his rulership, these devils have generational wealth. Okay, they have a system, that pretty much, grants them particular favor. Okay, what you call, they call white privilege, which is dwindling now, but for the longest, these devils from the elites on down, have had an advantage in the earth. All the wickedness, that they've done as a nation, and they've been prosperous. They're the one telling people what to do and deciding what's right and, being the moral police of the earth. For the longest, they've been able to do this, man. Okay? But now, we're coming to the time, all right, where the Lord is going to bring their prosperity down. How you doing there, sir?
Good.
Yeah. Got now, devil. So, when you read to jump down to verse 18, because Asaph was complaining, a lot of brothers in Dallas say Asaph, which was a pretty much like a leader, of the Levitical choir that King David had set up. He had those priests, that were singers, the Levitical choir. Asaph was like a, pretty much like a producer, in these days' time, like a writer / producer, because these are actual songs. So Asaph, like the brothers in Dallas say, he can play like a hoe. he can put it together, So, when you get down to 18, he like, surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. Okay? So, Asaph understood, as the Lord, was opening them up, like, these devils are set up for failure. That's why I say the triumph of the wicked is short. The joy of the hypocrite for a moment. Okay? But they're set up, for failure. They're deceived. All right? Esau is deceived. As we talk about, there's all these platforms, the nigger woman being delusional. Well, there's no one It's as delusional as Esau Edom. Okay? What this devil thinks he's going to bring to the earth. He think he's going to, change everyone's, DNA and, make it to where there's no nations anymore. And, he's going to tap into immortality on the left-hand side. And, just madness, man. He's going to fight Yahweh Shai. He's going to stop the second coming of Yahweh Shai. There's no one more delusional than Esau Edom. Okay? And we're seeing a small example of that with this account with Hezekiah. All right? And these Assyrians, man. Okay? So let's get back to it. The 2 Kings. Where we at? 2 Kings 18. Yep. Where we stop at? All right. Verse 26. All right. It says, then Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, Shebna, and Joab said to the Syrian chief of staff, please speak to us in Aramaic, for we understand it well. Don't speak in Hebrew, for the people on the wall will hear it. So you got to understand, like, they're like in the courtyard setting, So you have, Jake, telling the Syrian captain, like, look, let's speak in Aramaic. Let's speak in another language that the people can't understand, Let us just talk, between us, okay? Because, you got Jake listening, looking, around the court, around the walls, or the courtyard, okay? So, so he tell, the Syrian captain, let's speak in another language where the people can't understand, all right? So just like a nigga, what did he do? This nigga get louder. All right, showing you that these heathens are the original niggas, man. Okay? Like you try to have, be reasonable with a nigga, certain misunderstanding or something. You try to reason with a nigga. You can't even apologize to a nigga. Nigga get louder, he get bolder. You apologize, even if a nigga in the wrong, you kind of try to dead the situation. What do a nigga do? He get more emboldened and get louder, man. Till you just want to Bart Simpson, choke Jake, you know what I'm saying? You see? But, so, reading verse 27 says, but Sennacherib, chief of staff, replied, do you think my master sent this message only to you and your master? He wants all the people to hear it, for when we put this city under siege, they will suffer along with you. They will be so hungry and thirsty that they will eat their own dung and drink their own urine. Then the chief of staff stood and shouted in Hebrew to the people on the wall, listen to this message from the great king of Assyria. So now he's directly talking to the people, And Esau, he's going to do the same thing as he gets ready to announce, all right, his new world order. Okay, he's going to publicize it to the world, and he's going to make it seem as if it's a victory, like serving the Lord. That's what he brought to Eve. He made it seem to Eve that she was losing serving the Lord. Okay, being in order under Adam. Okay, he brought a better way. So as you read on, you're gonna see the Syrian, all right, captain, do the same thing. It said, this is what the king says. Don't let Hezekiah deceive you. All right, remember what the serpent said to Eve. Hey, you shall not surely die. Pretty much like the Most High was holding you back. You're being deceived. You can be much better. You can be more than just a wife and a mother. You can be, you know what I mean? You see, you could be president. You could be supervisor, of all the Wendy's, you know what I'm saying? You see? It said, this is what the king said, don't let Hezekiah deceive you. He will never be able to rescue you from my power. Don't let him fool you into trusting in the Lord by saying the Lord will surely rescue us. This city will never fall into the hands of the Assyrian king. Don't listen to Hezekiah. These are the terms the king of Assyria is offering. Make peace with me. Open the gates and come out. Then each of you can continue eating from your own grapevine and fig tree and drinking from your own well. Then will I arrange to take you to another land, this one a land of grain and new wine, bread and vineyards, olive groves and honey. Choose life instead of death. Don't listen to Hezekiah when he tries to mislead you by saying the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai will rescue us, man. Okay, so you see the Assyrian, he wanted to cast doubt. Okay, and he's making it seem as if he had a better deal than what Hezekiah was saying, all right, through Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. You know, he wanted to make it seem as if he had a better way, you know, like y'all gonna eat good, we got another land for y'all gonna be good. You see, don't listen to Hezekiah, you know, Hezekiah, and he telling you to trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. Like, nah, nothing can deliver from the Syrian military. Proud, okay, proud, you know, like this nigga is on some more shit. You see, and we see Esau Edom, he comes in that same energy today, as if he has a better way than Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. Because what does Esau push? Liberty. You know, when Esau pushes his wickedness, because Esau knows how to make wickedness look cheap, but he pushes it in the form of what? Liberty. You know, he pushes wickedness in the form of liberty. He liberated the woman from the oppression under the man. Okay? He liberated, you know, us through democracy and, you see, the right to choose, and, you know, the alphabet, you know, he liberated, you know, the alphabet people that was oppressed and couldn't really express their love openly. He liberated, you know, and he always presents that grass is green on the other side narrative. Okay? And Esau Edom, you know, he's gonna do that on the mass scale with the sea hip. What he's telling you now, you can be a transhuman, which means you're gonna ascend what a normal human is. Okay? We can heal the blind. We can, you know, we can make the lame walk. We can make, you know, monkey play, you know, ping pong with his brain. You see? It's the same thing that we're seeing today. Esau was dressing this thing up. Okay, so the Syrian captain, he has a message for the people of Israel to dress it up. You know, like, nah, trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, that's not the way. You got another way. It's better. You know, and it goes all the way back to the garden. You see? So, when you read on, it says, verse 33, it says, have the gods of any other nations ever saved their people from the king of Assyria? So this nigga, you know, this nigga won't stop. You know? And as we know Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, you know, we read these accounts, you know this gonna end bad. You know? I say, this nigga just won't stop, you know? Verse 34 says, what happened to the guys of Hamath and Arpad? And what about the guys of Sarvin, Hena, Iva? Did any God rescue Samaria from my power? But Samaria, remember, they trusted in idols. They wasn't trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai. You know? Their trust was in idols. That's why they was conquered, man. So the Syrian king, like shit, I took down the northern kingdom. Shit, and all them guys that they worship, you know, what's so special about, you know, Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai? What's so special about Yahweh? You know? Yeah, so you see how the Lord, you know, set them up for failure. All right? And it says, but the people were silent and did not utter a word. Now listen, this is a major point. But the people were silent and did not utter a word, and because Hezekiah had commanded them, do not answer him. Okay, so the people listened to Hezekiah. And remember, Hezekiah was obedient to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, and the people was obedient to him, so they was in order. You see, they was in order. All right, verse 37. Then Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, the palace administrator, Sheba, the court secretary, and Joah, son of Asaph, the royal historian, went back to Hezekiah. They tore their clothes in despair, and they went to see the king and told him what the Assyrian chief of staff, okay, had said. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 18. So now, all right, getting suspenseful, like, okay, both corners done went back, to their side, time to regroup and assess, what's going on. All right. And chapter 19, Lord will, which we'll get into it in the morning. All right. And go to how it plays out, But I'll just leave it here. You see? Yep. So wide to you, brothers. So add to the screen. But we'll end it here. I say, Lord will. You know how Netflix do, man. Gotta give y'all a cliffhanger, man. Make sure y'all come back tomorrow. Get the rest of our Ratazah, Lord will. But this Lamentation 3 and 24 said, the Lord is my portion, saith my soul, therefore will I hope in him. The Lord power is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. And these are the circumstances we're in, to where we're forced, to just trust in Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai against all odds, So Hezekiah, he's in that situation, back against the wall, okay? Well, we go into 19, okay? And the Lord's going to intervene, you see? So, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters, will edify once again and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.